Alright folks, last time we did the Darkest Dungeon base game with the free Musketeer DLC. Now we're going to talk about some paid DLC, specifically Colors of Madness and Shieldbreaker. I don't currently have the Crimson Court DLC, so we're going to leave that for possibly another time. Alright, so let's start with the Shieldbreaker DLC, because it's definitely shorter and simpler. So the Shieldbreaker is a new class, as you can see here. The Shieldbreaker is a melee fighter with a lot of mobility, a little bit of stealth, and a focus on blight. In addition to this new class, there is a new system that is introduced when the Shieldbreaker is in your adventuring party and you're camping, and those are called nightmares or flashbacks. These flashbacks are difficult battles that cannot be avoided because they don't count as ambushes. So, as one would expect, the rewards for these rather tricky fights are valuable. The Shieldbreaker herself receives a quest-long buff, as well as a slightly less powerful buff for the entire party. You get a trinket specifically for the Shieldbreaker. The enemies drop Aegis scales, and we'll get into what those are in a moment. And you get journal entries that tell you about the Shieldbreaker's story. But it isn't as simple as just defeating those enemies. You have to do it without the Shieldbreaker reaching death's door. That might not sound all that challenging on its own, but here's the catch. The Shieldbreaker automatically receives 20 stress when the flashback fight starts, and it can't be healed with the item Laudanum. So it's highly advised to use camping skills that decrease the Shieldbreaker's stress to ease the difficulty of the fight. If the Shieldbreaker reaches death's door during the flashback, the fight is considered a failure. Everyone gets a debuff for the rest of the quest. If you beat 7 flashbacks, you're done. The Shieldbreaker will no longer trigger them. They'll also get a sizable buff for 2 battles. Aegis scales are dropped by the snake enemies that you fight during these flashbacks. They're powerful items that can be saved and used during quests when you're getting your supplies together, or the provision page. Each scale provides 1 block against an attack, which could be the difference between life and death, especially during boss fights. That's pretty much it for the Shieldbreaker DLC, so let's discuss Colors of Madness, which gets more involved. Colors of Madness adds quite a few things. A new dungeon, which is the farmstead, a new quest type, which is a wave-based survival mode, a new currency type, shards, 3 new bosses, new enemy types, new quirks, new trinkets, and new districts. Once you have the DLC installed, you're going to see this new icon on the bottom right. You click on that to access the menu of new buildings. There are 16 total. You'll need to obtain the blueprints for them, which is done by defeating veteran and champion level bosses. These buildings aren't free, as you can see. You'll need either memories or shards to pay for them. On the bottom left-hand side, you'll see this new icon, and this is the shards. When you go into the Nomad Wagon, you'll see a new icon at the bottom left. Clicking on that opens up the other shop, and this is where you can get these otherworldly or crystalline trinkets, but only by using shards. So how do you get shards and memories to pay for these things? Well, getting shards is easy enough. Just keep questing in the farmstead. You can acquire them through curios and boss fights in the Endless Harvest, and also get them as quest rewards. Additionally, sometimes the new boss, Thing from the Stars, drops them upon defeat, and Things from the Stars can show up kind of randomly in the different areas. Memories, however, are much more limited. Memories are very rare drops from enemies, specifically from the Sleeper in the Endless Harvest and the Thing from the Stars. They are not easy to acquire, so don't be discouraged if you don't get the mill until late game. That's to be expected. Now let's go over the farmstead. You'll see it added to the map when you go to embark. Initially, you'll have a novice level quest here. Think of it like an introduction to the new area. Once you complete that, you'll get a veteran level boss fight. Once you complete the boss fight, you'll then have access to the new wave-based survival mode, the Endless Harvest. The nice thing about this mode is that you will have a chance to use new curios in between waves to help your heroes. And that's pretty much it. I hope this makes it easier to get started with the DLC. If you're interested in having a summarized version of the new mechanics in the Crimson Court DLC, drop a comment. And let us know how you feel about this video format overall. This is a completely new type of video for us, and your feedback is valuable.